Persons with disabilities can really be a bundle of joy if they are accepted and supported in all sorts of life. Welcome to yet another exciting edition of Proudly Able, a program that brings to you inspiring stories of persons with disabilities. And today we are in Bulawayo, Nketa 9, with Thandolwenkosi Ndlovu, who is inspiring us. So sit back, relax and get inspired.
My name is Thandolwenkosi Ndlovu. Popularly known as Thando due to people who know me. So I was born in 1988 and I was born with a disability named arthrogryposis. So I was affected mostly on my legs and my hands, and in terms of the balance, that's why I use a wheelchair. So I come from a family of 10, 7 girls and 3 boys. I'm the one in the middle. I'm the 5th child. So I'm the only one with a disability in my family.
Arthrogryposis involves a variety of non-progressive conditions that are characterized by multiple joint stiffness and involves muscle weakness found throughout the body at birth. It is a rare disorder occurring in 1 out of every 3,000 births. Despite that Thando was born with a disability, her family welcomed and accepted her just like any other child without looking at her disability.
We have seen her as a normal person. We have never treated her as a different person. She was treated equally like any other child in the family, and the exposure that she was given was the same with us. She was taken wherever we were going. She was never kept inside the house or at home. So she would travel with us to places wherever the family would be going. So that gave her confidence to know that she is also a normal human being. She is only disabled physically. She is not able to do some of the things. She would need to be assisted. But she would often tell us that I'm disabled, yes, physically, but it doesn't mean that my brain is disabled.
From what I heard from my parents when I was born, it was a bit of a challenge, especially to my relatives. But because of that, my dad and my mom, they are Christians, they were able to understand disability. Even Lalapo were introduced to my siblings. It wasn't a challenge to them, but most of the relatives had to withdraw themselves. So Baba Mngani was the only person who was so close to my dad and my mom.
Growing up as a child with a disability has its own fair share of challenges, as the child is not able to do what other children does. And Thando was no exception.
I wasn't able to play with others, especially when other children would jump. I couldn't jump, but I had that in my heart. But it was quite a challenge due to my disability.
She could not just easily play with other children as she was bound to a wheelchair. At first she had no wheelchair, so she had to move around. There was a plastic chair which she was given by our father's friends. So she would move around that, pushing herself in that chair.
Thando uses a wheelchair for mobility, and she faces a lot of challenges when using public transport. She is made to pay double fares, and the buses lack ramps for easy boarding access.
There is a challenge with the combis, the buses don't have ramps, so it's quite a challenge with you board them. It's either you have to hire a car to come and pick you from point A to point B, so it's an expense. Looking at it, that as a person with a disability, you yourself will be an expense because you go an extra mile to get whatever you want to do done, compared to an able-bodied person. Some buildings, they are not yet ramped, so You may find buildings that are upstairs, but I cannot reach them. I'll have to ask someone to go up there and consult whatever I'll be in need of.
The society still stigmatizes persons with disabilities and view them as charity cases.
When it comes to the society, I think from a tender age, maybe from the day I was born, it was quite a challenge. Having conversations with my mom, I remember at one point she told me that there's this certain lady who said, "Why do you have to buy this child clothes or take it to school? Can't you see that akalancedo vele ungamhambisa isikolo ungamthengeli izigqoko umekele?" So as I grew up, that I think kwake kwangani kuyangithomenta, but I had to understand ukuthi the society itself has not enough information when it comes to persons with disabilities, because what they always think is that we're bewitched or mama wakanga, but at the end of the day it's not true. As you grow, ubona abanye abantwana excelling, or bekutshela ukuthi you'll never reach to such a destination because of your disability, because of who you are, naming you with all those names, you know. It was really stressing, but I had the courage. Maybe growing from a Christianhood family, that is one principle that made me to be who I am today, and that I knew God at a tender age, and I would cry sometimes when someone would hate me or call me with names, but at the end of the day I would say I'm a human being, though I'm different from them.
Acceptance of Thando's condition by her family made them not to confine her in the house, but instead send her to school, allowed her to live an independent life just like any other person. We're taking a short break. Stay tuned. Welcome to our second segment of Proudly Able, where we're still talking to Thando. In a bid to see persons with disabilities being afforded equal opportunities in the entertainment industry, Thando founded an organization called Here We Rise.
She is that kind of a person who is ambitious. Whatever she wants, she will do it despite her disability, and she has taught us that being disabled does not mean that one is unable to do whatever they want.
I have a trust that is called Here We Rise Trust. It caters for persons with disabilities in the entertainment sector, also at world at large. There are still families that lock their children who have disabilities in their homes. They hide them.
When I got to sit down and talk to her, her zeal, her mind, and the things that she wants are mostly the things that I want as well. We are advocating for the same thing, which is a better life for people that are discriminated in the communities.
Thando umuntu lwana ongaluzi ithemba. Uthando is someone othi noma esebona ukuthi these days kunzima kuthene, she's the strength in the whole organization. I'd like to see her as the heart of the organization, because kwesinye isikhathi lami ngikhonapho kuloku ngafactor yendle, but as much as we're pushing, Thando as the visionary. Really, she keeps us running.
I work with Thando in various projects. I choreograph most of her shows and some of the things that she does, especially when it comes to charity and working with people living with disabilities.
Thando's organization does not focus on music only, but the entertainment industry as a whole.
When it comes to the entertainment sector, we don't only look at the music industry. We also look at into modeling industry, doing pageants. Our main objective is to see each and every person with a disability being exposed, being uplifted, and not discriminated or neglected by the society, by the family, by the world. As a trust, we also try to empower them to be more independent than to be dependent on someone.
Here We Rise Trust has managed to organize and host the Mr. and Miss Inspirational Pageantry since 2015.
As the trust, we have hosted Mr. and Miss Inspirational Pageantry since 2015. So it's whereby we bring in all forms of disabilities. We don't select a certain disability, but we allow all types of disabilities to contest.
When you are going out there to other stages, there are no ramps, akula lapho wheelchair or any other facility enganceda. So it becomes a problem kakhulu ekutheni umuntu wethu uyathola ukuthi kasisenelisi ukuthi singene estagini sokusithwalisa nzima konke khonokho.
Thando's wish is to see the pageantry growing and spreading to other areas across the country.
Our aim and our vision is spreading. We are hoping that by 2025 we reach even out of Bulawayo, even to the resort areas where there is a great challenge. As far as those persons with disabilities that are in rural areas, we are hoping that one day we may build schools in the rural areas that will also cater for persons with disabilities, because we find it quite a challenge ukuthi umuntu uzosuka maybe 10 kilometers away ukuze efike esikolo.
She's someone who believes that God created her even if she has a disability, and she believes that the Lord has called her to a given ministry or to a certain ministry that is meant to impact other souls, that is meant to impact particularly persons with disabilities.
In order to be fully mobile and to execute their duties to their satisfaction, Thando's Here We Rise is in need of an operational vehicle that is user-friendly to persons with disabilities.
The assistance that we really need, the funds, even the vehicles to transport persons with disabilities, because in most cases when we are doing our Mr. and Miss Inspirational, we get to have a center point for them to rehearse, so it becomes quite a challenge for them to transport themselves. So if only we could get vehicles that are user-friendly for persons with disabilities, even those who are on wheelchairs.
Disability is not inability, and disability does not take away the functionality of the brain and the vision one has.
Disability is not inability. The voice is from the heart, processed through the mind. So if one has a brain and a vision, I always see that person as more than yena's corner, because the vision lives on. And there is more to humanity. It takes one to know one. the moment you get to sit down with that person, that's when you get to understand and see what we are just as equal.
Since 2015, Here We Rise has been hosting Mr. and Miss Inspirational Pageant to try and instill confidence in persons with disabilities. We're taking a short break. Stay tuned. Welcome to our third and final segment of Proudly Able, where we're still being inspired by Thando. Despite the complication of Thando's disability, she can still type her phone, write, sew with a needle using her mouth.
There are things that I can do using my mouth. I can use the phone, I type using my lips. I can write, I can feed myself. Even at school, I from grade 2, I think, I had that zeal not to do things for myself. So in classrooms there were class assistants, but I refused to go to class assistant and ballet. I can drink, I can feed myself. Kana stove iri pa level yandosikira, I can cook my light meals like rice, macaroni, ni relish. I can also feed a child, a baby. I can sew using my mouth. And I'm gonna shine now Mumba using my legs, and I can push myself short distances using my legs.
Love is for two, but in most African societies, usually family members and parents influence the acceptance of the bride or groom-to-be. It is worse when one partner is disabled.
No, they say love is for two, and it takes two to tango. But yeah, it's quite a challenge. All right, you may date your person more too, but also ne time you could see families panopindira. It's quite a challenge, especially the partner as family. They learn what adjust. You have to first teach them, advocate kuti vanzwisise nyaya kuti neniwo ndiri munhu ndoda kudiwa, iye atoita his choice kuti ari kuda inini, because you find some families they don't accept and they abandon you kuti uri kutorerei munhu are disabled.
Thando also conscientizes her churchmates on disability issues, and this has seen access ramps into and out of the church being constructed.
One of the things that she has been assisting us with is to conscientize us in regard to people with disabilities. As you most know that in our churches we are not much conscientized in regard to people with disabilities, but she has done that. Sis Thando is one person who is a prayer warrior. She's one person who encourages us. She's one person who stands up to pray for others at all the times. And so by her acts we have been encouraged. One of the things that we have done to make Sis Thando and others who have disabilities feel at home is that we have built a way in which they can enter to the church. And recently, or before Sis Thando had conscientized us, you'd realize that we had steps.
Thando implored media companies to partner your organization whenever they host events, especially the pageant.
So whenever I'm hosting events, media doesn't come on board. It will be just a few that will come on board and feature to your events. So we're appealing for media companies, even the private media companies, to come on board as well.
She also called upon the government to include artists with disabilities in national events such as musical galas.
Recently there was a gala, but I didn't see any person with a disability. So we're still working on it. We want to write a post or a letter to the government asking them is there no other means ukuthi umuntu disabled engene, because ule talent like any other.
In life, every person has someone who inspires him or her, and Thando is no exception. She is inspired by Honorable Philip Chiyangwa.
Unangada kuona Zimbabwe, the Honorable Philip Chiyangwa. You know, this minister inspires me a lot. Nekuti I know, I mind yokuti every person should be empowered. Kuti life yake ichinje from zero to heroes. Pese pandomgoverenga nenyaya dzake nezvaanoita anosiya achinja tichitarisa kuti uyaphakamisa vantu to a better level.
Thando wishes to visit the Victoria Falls if she is given an opportunity to visit a tourist destination of her choice locally.
I would love to go to Vic Falls and Inyanga. Inyanga, I want to go and see that place of I don't know. Yeah, that's the place I want to go and visit. Then Epic Falls, I just love that. So go and sleep at Elephant Hills Hotel.
Thando has words of advice to parents of children with disabilities and also to persons with disabilities themselves.
My words of advice to parents with children that have disabilities, whether they are single parents or both parents, it's that bengafihli abantu ababo, bebafundise, allow them to mix and mingle with others, and as well support them in every way that they can, for them to be able to reach out to their destinies. And my advice to persons with disabilities is never give up. Yes, we are physically limited, but we are not mentally limited. We can do whatever you want to do, for the sky is the limit. Have confidence in yourself, trust yourself, and whenever you think you can't make it, tell yourself that you can make it.
They are created in the image of God, and God is willing to use them with their disabilities.
Thando is an amazing young lady who lives an independent life, and she has proven that she has a passion in advocating for the rights of persons with disabilities. With that, we've come to the end of this edition. If you've got a story that you'd like to share with us, please feel free to get in touch with our producers on 0717 45 92 92. And don't forget to like our Facebook page, Proudly Able Zim, our YouTube channel, Proudly Able Zim. From me, Ratizomchair, Thandolwenkosi Ndlovu, the crew behind the scenes, stay blessed. Goodbye. Bye.